Well, it is time, boys. It's time to throw this Puch E50 engine back together. Had to drop the cylinder off for some porting work, mostly to case match cases to the actual cylinder because there's this whole extra port which isn't on the case's stock. So as you see, we came in here, ported it all up. I'll throw it on in a second to show you guys. But most importantly, what we're going to be doing today is putting the cases back together. We got to throw the main gear in. We got to throw all the bearings in, the seals in, and the crank, which the crank is in the freezer because it helps, you know, to slide the bearings on, obviously. You could tell we opened up a bunch. It would end like here before. Took away all that material. We also had to widen the cases a lot right here. See this little curve out? Whereas before it went straight, so everything from the air coming in was pretty much running into a wall, blocking a lot of that. So came in here and we had the actual intake cleaned up a bunch too, because this was really rough, really uneven, and all the actual channels were really bad casting. We raised the exhaust port a lot. We cleaned up a lot of the actual chambers inside of the cylinder. So this thing should be buttery smooth. Still confused on what this hole is for. If you look inside the exhaust port, there's a hole going up to here, but then in the head itself, there's not a hole at all. So kind of an interesting setup there, but got our high compression head here, custom cut head, and 4 bearings here, 3 seals here. 2 are crank bearings, 2 are for the actual main gear itself. One has a clip on the bearing. That clip will sit right here where the crank does, as you can see that little cutout there. This is my first time building one of these, so I got to give some credit to Cornped, I believe is the channel I was looking at, just to kind of get a better idea of the assembly of this and get some knowledge in my brain. So got our straight cut gear. As you see, she's clean right now, and we're going to slap the bearings on. We're going to be using a press to do that. We got our clutch basket with the straight cut gears. Alright, so we'll put a little bit of I use 2-stroke oil, or assembly lube, whatever you want to use. 2-stroke oil works just fine. Put that on here, put some on the inner bearing. So RJ is learning how to cut hair right now.
I thought he was learning how to build an engine.
What you think about getting today?
Just a ball fed. 4 on top. First tee right here, this first tee.
Oh shit, sweet to it. Alright, we got the seal, both bearings on the main gear. It's that time of year, it's hot out, so my camera kept overheating while I was trying to film it outside. But we got everything. Got our little clip in between the seal and the bearing right there on the main gear. Now it's time to throw the crank together. Yeah, she looks good. Got everything pressed on. Alright, got our new crank here. Hopefully, it's been in the freezer for a few days. Hopefully it helps with just being able to slide on the bearings. Look at that. That went right on. Turn it around, hit the other side real quick. Throw a little oil in our seal. Lube her up. This one, the snap ring is going to be pointing like outwards. Perfect. And that was just leaving the bearings out in the sun for like an hour. That's how hot it is in Vegas. The bearings are probably like 100 degrees. And then the crank was in the freezer. That's how we do it, boys. Now we got our new crank. As you can tell, it's frozen. Rito crank. Got our bearings in there. Now we can put the seal on this side. Slide that seal on. I believe this seal is the one we have to gap when we put it in, but for now we'll just slide her on. So now we got it matching. As you see, new crank bearings and seals. The bottom part of the case here, we got the open part of this clip facing up as it should. And then we'll set the crank in there, do the same with that, and then like I said, we have to space out, I believe it's this seal from the bearing 1 millimeter. I'm gonna double check on that. Set it in there, and then we'll be able to seal everything up and slap it together. Alright, got the circlip on underneath there on the bearing. Got our little spacer for our actual clutch basket. Got the bushing in there, we'll lube it all up, slide that on. Then we have another washer, and then I believe we have another C-clip as well, or circlip to put on as well. Yep, and then one more circlip. I didn't have one of those like actual feeler gauge plates, but I have this scalpel and it is exactly 1 millimeter. So I was able to space out the bearing for the oil passage and the seal right there using this. And it's a feeler pretty much exactly 1 millimeter. So push it in a little bit at 1 millimeter. And we're good. Perfect. So now we got everything set in there right. Got our clutch basket on, got everything on, all the clips on, everything. And she's ready to put back together. Good old Honda Bond. Layer up with some Honda Bond.
I'll take care of families.
Alright, got some sealing all on this side of the case. We're going to slap it together. Like I said before, we're going with Allen heads now for the bottom bolts instead of the flathead screws that come stock. Alright, she's all put together. Like I said, just snugged everything up. We'll come and actually torque it all down tomorrow once it seals a little better. One thing I'm very happy with is that this crank has an actual wrist pin in it with like a needle bearing wrist pin, whereas the stock one is literally just a bushing, which is insane to me. I've never had a crank without an actual wrist pin in it, which is crazy, but obviously that's gonna make a big difference. Alright, we let it sit overnight. It's time to really torque these bolts down. Threw the base gasket on just to get an idea, and it looks like our porting is perfectly matched to the base gasket that came with the cylinder, so that's a very good sign. Oh, I'm gonna go ahead and I run a little bit of Honda Bond on my base gasket. A lot of people just lube them up, throw them on. I'm big on just running a little bit of Honda Bond on there because I don't like any type of chance of an air leak. So went ahead and threw the sprocket on. We're running a 15 tooth sprocket for now. Got her all fitted in the workbench vise, and take this base gasket back off now. Cut this up, take the wrist pin out. Like I said, we'll lube everything up, throw the piston on. You know the deal. Alright, putting the piston in. We just got to put the one more circlip in. Already got the one side in. I always stuff napkins in just in case the circlip decides to dance out of my pliers and go flying. Pop the other circlip in, lube up the ring, slide the cylinder on. You know the deal. It's good. Could check the squish, but given this is all stock stroke and I only have the one base gasket, I'm gonna go with we're gonna be all good, boys, for this one. And this head on here is an O-ring style head. Just throwing a piston in to prevent anything from actually falling in there. Many dumb designs I'm finding here. I don't like how also the screws face into the block, or that way. I guess they couldn't really fully fall out, but it's sketch that these screws could fall out, go right in your engine. But also the screws stick up so high on the plate that it doesn't sit flush with the intake manifold at all. The screws are literally, like the reed block would not sit on the intake at all. I'm gonna Dremel out a little thing for the screws to sit in on here, for the screws to sit in on here. I also Dremeled out the intake itself because there's a huge lip on it. Alright, messy as hell because the Dremel kept bouncing on me. Oh, sits flush now, as it should. Very interesting design there. Alright, well I put the intake on, but it's upside down right now. Showing you because I'm building an air leak down tester right now for this thing, based off of pretty much all the pieces I have from an air leak tester from my other builds. But I made an exhaust plate for it. Well, actually I took one for a Dio, cut it up, had to cut it for the cooling fins to fit up top, had to bring these in a lot, and now that'll block off the exhaust port so I can do an air leak down test. So pretty much I just put like some rubber, or I think I have like pieces of grip I put in there to make that seal up good. And then on the flip side, we got our intake all on there. Not sure if I'm going to keep it this intake. I actually was hoping this was a front mount one, but it's not. It's the backwards facing mount one, so I don't know. Hopefully I don't have any issues clearing the frame. I really don't know about these like that, so just the look of it looks like it kind of might be in the way of some things, but we'll see once we put it back together. But I got this style one, so I can run this style intake, and I actually just got the carb in the mail for this thing as well. Now we got exhaust port all blocked off. Well, boys, we got an air leak right here at the corner of this head. One hole there, it's hard to see, but I sprayed water down in there. See all those bubbles? See all those bubbles in there? We got an air leak right out the side of the head. So about to pull the head off, and we'll see if I can't reseal it. Alright, so first air leak test was a fail, but we're going to let it dry. I just put the head back on and resealed it. I think I saw where it was leaking from. I just didn't have a lot of Honda Bond on that area, so went through, put more Honda Bond, let it dry for about 24 hours, come back, torque it back down. Also, I only let it dry for about 3 hours, so when I took it off, the Honda Bond was still a little tacky, so that was my bad. I think that this time we'll have better luck. So my pump leaks like when I pull off the thing, so I can only get it at 5.5-ish, right below 5.5, but it hasn't moved. It's been there for like 5 minutes now. Holding air now. I think that leak simply was just the gasket wasn't dry enough yet, and I went ahead and tried to pressure check it. Been waiting on this package for almost 2 months now. It came from across the world, so maybe that's why, but we're gonna crack this thing open right now. This is a big piece. This is actually one of the finishing pieces, pretty much the only piece I'm missing now for this thing. Well, I'm still missing my exhaust, but that's already ordered and coming in the mail. But this was something I've been waiting on. So we got our clutch, we got everything, ignition, everything we need to throw this motor together. We just needed this right here. So some gaskets. I think you can get the idea of what we're working with now. Look at this. Boys, we're going kickstart with the E50. We got the big old adapter plate. Not too sure how all this is going to work out, but we got a full kicker case, adapter plate, 2 gaskets. Alright, so Puch E50 engine is pretty much completely ready. We got everything drilled, we got everything here for the kickstart. Like I showed, we got a jammer clutch. The only thing is we're going to be running kickstart, so we have to get rid of this clutch pad side, which you would use if you're using the stock clutch lever setup, I guess you'd say. We're going to be replacing it with that. Also, we're throwing MOPBOYZ springs in on the Puch clutch, because I've heard a lot about these jammer clutches not having really good springs in them. So we got a couple options of springs that came with it, but we went straight ahead, ordered ourselves some MOPBOYZ springs. Throw it in there, throw this on there, very simple. Alright, talked to a few homies who ran this clutch, and they said to run the white ones because the yellow ones were a little too high strung. So for my setup, I'm going to try the white ones at first. We threw those in, but these ones are so weak, like they came off so easy, but look at the difference in the beefiness of these. It's quite crazy, but I just put it in a vice grip. Use this tool, which is perfect for grabbing springs. It has a little hook at the tip. Pop the springs on. Alright, as you saw, clutch is now ready to go. So we're pretty much ready to throw that on. We got our carb on there. Delorado 21 mil race carb. I have a pull choke for it too, so we won't be running the cable choke. But that's how it's sitting in the intake. We gotta put a hose clamp on there. But everything's sitting all good. I'm basically waiting on the custom exhaust I ordered for this thing to throw it in the bike and actually fire it up. I could put the ignition in, put everything like that in, but I want this video to solely be just the assembly of the motor itself, and then we'll be throwing the motor in and doing the first start in the next videos. Forgot to mention we also have our Kickstarter stuff put aside. We had to get a special nut and another piece down in here, and we'll be assembling our full Kickstart also in the next video. So that's gonna do it for this one. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, stay tuned for more of the Puch E50 build, and I'll see you guys in the next one.